I don't like trafficking in that type of talk because it's kind of untoward to put yourself in the shoes of a kid or a position coach to say, one, that somebody's unhappy, or two, from a position coach's standpoint, that he's not in the plans. I mean, I've been rebuked any number of times over the years by position coaches and moms and dads who said, you have no right to say that or, think that about my kids. So in my 20-some years, I've kind of learned to back away from that. But speaking in generalities, they have 16 offensive linemen beyond the super seniors and beyond the seniors who would be on this team in 2021, who would be back in 2022. And that includes the incoming freshmen that are coming in. So that's a 3 deep. So if you go through spring football and you're a scholarship guy and you're still on the 3 deep, and maybe you're in a third-year guy, maybe you're a guy who'd be perfect to transfer to an American Conference school, or back down south to a Sun Belt school if you're from down that way, or whatever. Again, I don't have specific names, and I'm just speaking in generalities. Likewise, that wide receiver group, as we talked about, we've already seen Mookie Cooper got up and left after one semester. And not to dump on Mookie Cooper, but he was at a high school, then went to another high school for his senior year, and it was very nebulous why he couldn't play at the second high school, whether it was eligibility or discipline. No one would ever say. And, now he's going to be at his fourth school in 3 years. So I assume he's already off to Missouri for the second semester. So fourth school in 3 years for Mookie Cooper. Call somebody like that a squirrel, somebody that just goes from one tree to the next looking for the nut, and the happiness and whatever. And not to demean him in any way. It's just, there's any number of people out there like that just jump from one school to the next. And, I hope he has a great career at Missouri. I got to talk to him and was very impressed talking to him. It's just, he certainly didn't want to discuss why he didn't get to play as a high school senior. So you got those three guys who were national top 100 they took last year. They have three more national top 100 guys coming in this year, plus whoever was on scholarship prior to that. Jamison Williams, Olave Wilson are certainly going to play. Then you have Harris and Gardner, and maybe I'm missing somebody else, but that's 11 some wide receivers when you only play about 2.5 on every play. So I don't know. And they really struggled to find reps for Fleming and Smith and the Jigba because they went two tight ends quite a bit. So I don't know. Not predicting any of those great wide receivers are going to leave Ohio State, or presumably great wide receivers. But as we said, we've already seen Mookie Cooper get up and leave. So offensive line, wide receiver, linebacker is wide open. If you're any good, you're playing. I mean, that should be how it is. I mean, they certainly shouldn't be sitting anybody who can play. I don't know. I think otherwise, Tony, I mean, maybe you know of a better position that, do I envision one of the quarterbacks leaving after spring ball? I doubt it the first year, but I guess it would be their second spring, I guess. It would be their second spring if they had a spring last year. First chance to really show the coaches what they can do. I don't know, Tony, do you have any other ideas about position groups? But those two kind of stick out to me, that you have depth and proven guys who are going to be on the field in 2021, and you're not it. I mean, there's like 8 or 10 or 12 guys at each spot that you're not playing, or we don't expect you to play.
Yeah, I think each of the positions, there's so much depth and so many numbers for a lot of these positions that you could see somebody from each group leaving. But as far as the quarterbacks, I think Ryan Day is going to stay as far away from naming any starter as possible. But if a player ends up leaving after the spring, it's because they saw that they were clearly the third best guy in these reps, and the two guys ahead of them were much better than they were, in my opinion. Because why else leave if you're still competing for the open job? I think there could be some sizable names, known names that transferred, just because this is an unprecedented time. Ohio athletes were basically kept on campus from June through January, couldn't see friends, couldn't see family, couldn't go anywhere. And then after the season, they were sent home just to recharge, spend time with family. And I'm wondering, in those 2 weeks at home, how many guys are going to be like, I don't want to go back. I'd rather stay somewhere close to home. I wonder how much of that is going to happen as players recharge and realize that this season has taken a toll on me. And one way to, I guess, lessen that toll would be to stay closer to family at my next school. And so I wonder if there's going to be some of that, because us on the outside, we can't, we could talk about what it was like for the players, but we didn't experience it. We all had our own quarantines, but I mean, away from family that long, not being able to see them, and sure, there's plenty of communication, but it's not the same. And so I just wonder if there are going to be players who are just, I had enough of Ohio State this year, and they could have been anywhere, and it would have been, I had enough of Colorado this year. And I think there's going to be quite a bit of that nationally, and we'll see if any of it hits Ohio State.
Each individual has their own laundry list of why they attend the school that they do, how much football is important to them. Many have aspirations, obviously, to go to the next level, but school is still important. Others know that they won't make the next level, so school's everything, although they're gaining a ton out of the football portion of it, and it's paying the bills. In terms of getting the education, there's all sorts of different factors, and proximity to home, the attachment to the coaching staff or their unit coach, all that sort of thing. But man, when it comes to being buried on a depth chart at Ohio State, and we'll take wide receiver into play because it's easy to put a metric to it, I just can't imagine not going to a good group of five school, Tulsa, Fresno State, and catching 50 passes a year versus never seeing the field or catching 5 balls a year at Ohio State. That would be tough to take.
There is the example of Terry McLaurin and Paris Campbell, who combined for a total of, I think, 0 catches in their first 3 years or so on campus, or maybe like 11 something catches, where Paris Campbell started the 2015 season opener against Virginia Tech as a redshirt freshman, dropped like one of the first passes of the game that would have been an easy touchdown, had no catches that year, then had a few catches as a redshirt sophomore, and then Terry McLaurin didn't have his first catch until year 3 as well. And so those are 2 guys who end up being second-round pick for Paris Campbell, third-round pick for Terry McLaurin, to where they did not catch a ball until their 3rd year on campus. Michael Thomas, was redshirted as a true sophomore because they didn't want to waste him like they did the year before as a true freshman. And so if you don't produce until year 3 or 4, that's not a death sentence or anything like that. It just, you have to have the patience for it. And not everybody does, as we see, because guys transfer all the time, and patience is going to be even lesser now with a free transfer, for your first, your first time transferring, you can go wherever you want and you don't have to sit when that rule hits, if it hasn't hit already. But there is something to just continuing to work, and it can pay off. But then there are also, we've been talking about 2 receivers at Ohio State who have stuck around for 3 or 4 years, and Jalen Harris and Elijah Gardner, who are still waiting for that catch. And Cameron Babb is now, I think, in his 3rd year, will be his 4th year next year, has been injured his entire career at Ohio State, still waiting for that first catch as well. But I don't think the answer is always to transfer, but as we've seen with Justin Fields, sometimes the answer absolutely is to transfer. Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, Jalen Hurts, and so there's also Joe Burrow. It's just an individual thing, but there is also some positives to sticking around. And if Joe Burrow had stuck around at Ohio State, there's a pretty good chance that he would have done fairly well as a Buckeye also.
Michael Thomas caught so much attention for that enormous spring game, and then it didn't seem like we saw him forever, because it was like a year and a half later before he really saw the field and did anything.
That's the danger of winning the Bam Childress Spring Game MVP award.
Memorial. The Bam Childress Memorial.
Bam
Spring
Childress,
MVP
number
award.
3, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Several years in the NFL with the New England Patriots.
Yep. From way gone back, 2002, 2003. I think he went to Bedford Chanel, I think, up in Cleveland.
Elisha Gardner with 1 career catch. You're good, Tony. Now, if you can tell me how many yards it went for, you'll go from a silver to a gold star.
It was either was it 11 or was it like 6 or 7?
Oh, you're dancing around it. 10-yard catch for Elisha Gardner. Nice, sleek, clean
It's on the
stat
sideline,
line there.
Yeah.
1 catch, 10 yards.